Hello, everyone. Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. For this Tuesday, November 27th, 2018, I am your host, Russ Williams. I'm glad you could be here today. I know you could have been anywhere in this world today, but you decided to be here with me, and I appreciate that. And more importantly, I appreciate you. So welcome to Transition Tuesdays. As Gypsy Elise is joining us. What's going on? Thank you for joining us. We got Kelly Tia Glover joining us from Conversational Peace. What up, cuz? Thank you for joining us, ladies. Appreciate it. Welcome to Transition Tuesdays. Everybody who's just joining us. Welcome. Hey, so, ladies and gentlemen out there, Transition Army, wanted to know, and before we get in again, we got Kennard joining us. What's up, Kennard? Thank you for joining us, sir. I want to know how everybody's Thanksgiving went for each and everybody out there. Was it a lively time? I know there was a lot of football, there was a lot of food, there was a lot of folks probably drinking, a lot of fun. You know what I mean? Do you have any Thanksgiving stories anybody want to share? You know, some maybe the drunk uncle maybe got a little rowdier than usual this year, or somebody, some incident. I like to hear the funny Thanksgiving stories. So if you got any of those, just just type them in that comment box. We'd love to hear those. But just wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hope everything went well. Hope everybody was safe on their safe travels back home. If they went somewhere else for Thanksgiving, happy travels. And I'm glad everybody made it home, made it safely. And I'm glad you guys are joining me today. As Karen is joining us. What's going on, Karen? Thank you for joining us. Great. Hey, so we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things going on in this world. A lot of things going on. So I would like to first start by talking about, let's transition into the Mississippi Senate runoff between Cindy Hyde-Smith and Mike Espy. This is a very important runoff there in the state of Mississippi. John is joining us too. What's up, John? Thank you for joining us, sir, on Transition Tuesdays. This is an important runoff for that state of Mississippi. I've had the great pleasure of living in South New Orleans, Louisiana, right bordering next to Mississippi. Past 8 years, I've lived there before, so I know how kind of things go down there in the state of Mississippi. And this is a pretty big election here because it's has a lot to do with a lot of racial overtones. You have Cindy Hyde-Smith, who's white. You have Mike Espy, who happens to be black. They're going into a runoff for state senator spot there in Mississippi. So this could be highly contested, and the runoff is today as we speak. We're going to see how that goes on there. Cindy Hyde-Smith, she's been on record. She's made jokes, racist jokes about being in the front row of a public lynching. She's mentioned that. She's also she's also had pictures of her in Confederate paraphernalia, like flags and a Confederate rifle. She's done that, and she's making joke like insults about lynching, which is crazy in itself. I know yesterday I was looking at CNN and I saw like near the Mississippi courthouse, there were a couple of nooses that hung on trees. Maybe people trying to piggyback on this particular incident, which is kind of scary situation going on down in Mississippi. But the runoff is today. As Leah is joining us, what's going on, Leah? Thank you for joining us for Transition Tuesday. And like I posted yesterday, I went on record and posted yesterday. This lady Cindy Hyde-Smith, very she's trying to walk back her statements that she made about being front row of public lynching. Saying it was in jest. She has the backing of number 45. Not only did they have one rally, but they had two rallies in the state of Mississippi last night. So she's a component of the president, and the president backs her as well. And like I posted yesterday on Facebook, I said to the citizens of Mississippi, if you're voting in this election, this election, this runoff, and if you happen to vote for Cindy Hyde-Smith, I think you're casting a vote for racism. Based on all the comments that she mentioned, very, very divisive on that, kind of downplaying it. But this is a serious matter, especially lynchings. I mean, there's been a high rate of lynchings in the state of Mississippi, throughout the years. I mean, that's nothing to joke about. And this is a person who's running for Senate, and, my dealings with, down south in the state of Mississippi, a lot of times, certain areas and pockets of that area seems very backwards and not really caught up to the 21st century. But, I'm on record by saying if you vote for that particular young lady, based on all the comments she has said, you're really voting for racism. You know what I mean? And that's not being progressive, in the state of Mississippi. So that might be something you might have to think about there. All my people from, the state of Mississippi might be something you have to think about. If you voted for that young lady there, it might be a vote for racism. I think, with Mike Espy, he seems to be a very progressive guy. Hopefully he wins that, and hopefully, love overrules or trumps hate, no pun intended. So, that we're going to be watching that race. But I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think if you vote for Cindy Hyde Smith, is that a vote for racism? Should we be a little progressive down in the state of Mississippi and maybe try to change things for the better? I mean, does this affect your vote? Does it affect the way we think and the way we are in our society? I mean, this is a very important election, down there for race relations. Very, very important. So I wanted to get your point on that and, and how, this young lady has aligned herself with number 45 and they've had two rallies down there, which should tell you something. I mean, he definitely wants her to win there. And I'm going to say this too. Is it me or when the president has these rallies, do they kind of feel like, to me, like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to say it. Do they feel like Klan rallies to you? Like, for example, like at a Klan rally, you have those white hoods, right? So it seems like, as Stephen is joining us too, thank you for joining us, Stephen. But to me, when I'm watching this, those rallies, especially down in the southern states for number 45, it seems like that great American, make America great again hats, those red hats are now replacing the white hoods in Klan rallies. That's what it seems like to me. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I wanted to get your thoughts on it, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling that, but I will digress on that. But, just wanted to get your thoughts on that. So that's a very, very important election that's going on a runoff today. We got Rob Banner, Doc Banner joining us. We got Chris Smooth Williams joining us as well. Thank you guys for joining us for Transition Tuesdays. Just joining us. We're talking about the Mississippi Senate runoff between Cindy Hyde Smith and Mike Espy. We talked about that. Very important dealings going on down there in the South. I lived there in the South. I've seen how, things go down in the South, and the two candidates there, one was on the record saying, jokingly saying about she likes being in the front row of a public hanging, which is crazy, had Confederate paraphernalia, and the other guy does not. The other guy seems to be more progressive in his dealing in the state of Mississippi. So the people will decide that vote. But, it's just something we really need to look really close into. I don't like to lead with politics on this show here about, Transition Tuesdays. But, we are going to do that. Let me see. Sorry about that, guys. As my phone, my computer just went off. So, yeah, we talked about that. So everybody joining us, I really appreciate it. So I want to get your thoughts on it. What do you guys think about that? Do you think a vote for Cindy Hyde Smith is a vote for racism based on what she has said and what she has talked about? So, want to get your thoughts. Want to get your your thought process on that. Outsiders looking in. Especially if you're not from that state of Mississippi. So we can't vote, but but this is a very important election, and I think a lot of it has to deal with race. So, people coming out and voting and expressing their opinions on how they want, their state to be governed and run. So very, very important runoff today that's going on there. So while you guys ponder that question, let's transition to the rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine in his federal racketeering case. Let's talk about that. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's a young man who has colorful hair. He has tattoos all out on his face. Number 69 is tattooed on his face. He's like a new and up-and-coming rapper. Album, I think, was just leaked and just came out. So very popular among the kids of today. And, he's being charged, a federal racketeering case. This gentleman here, he has pleaded not guilty. His trial date is set for September 4th, 2019. So he remains in jail, and I believe he will remain in jail before his trial date. So he'll probably be in jail for like a year before his trial date comes around. He said they said he's pulled armed robbery along with his ex-manager on April the 3rd of this year. He's indicted on 17 counts, and it looks like he could be facing a sentence of 32 years in prison. 32 years in prison for Tekashi 6ix9ine. As Elizabeth is joining us. Hey, Elizabeth, thank you for joining us on Transition Tuesday. Appreciate you coming aboard. So, and also, looks like they froze his bank account. So how's he going to pay lawyers? I don't know that. And they froze his mom's bank account. So that could get pretty pricey, I guess, in jail. And I think he's there on no bond too. So, all this is going on. So the question I ask you all is, do you feel sorry for Tekashi 6ix9ine, for this young man? Now, keep in mind, he's a young man. Got indicted for some federal racketeering cases. This is major. This is serious. I mean, he's going to be in jail for at least a year before his trial date comes. But, do you feel sorry for him? And, just looking at, interviews in the past, I know he's had interviews with The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne God. And I remember Charlamagne the God was really pleading with him to, really, have an opportunity to change your ways, because, a lot of times, I guess, older people, we've seen how this show, we've seen how this movie ends. And he was basically giving them some advice on, you need to change your ways, man, before before something like this comes down. So, apparently he didn't take heed to it. Also saw Fat Joe, the rapper Fat Joe, on his podcast. He had Tekashi 6ix9ine on there, and he basically schooled him and told him, hey, look, you need to change your ways, man, before something like this can happen. So apparently he didn't change his ways. So right now he's up to some really federal charges, which is really serious. But, it always poses the question, do you feel sorry for the young man? And, for me personally, I kind of do. I mean, because he's a young man. Maybe he doesn't know it better. People try to reach out to him, but sometimes you have to go through that fire yourself to really learn the lesson. And hopefully, this serves as a great lesson for younger people coming up, either in the music industry or not. You know what I mean? It's just like a lot of times it's the company you keep that really get you in trouble. Like I always say, show me your friend and I'll show you your future. Apparently this guy, his friends was involved with some negative stuff. He was involved in that type of lifestyle. I think some gang environment, not to knock anything. I don't know too much about the gang environment or the culture about that, but, I'm willing to say, if you mixed up with friends that are doing that, you probably going to get caught up in that as well. So, that's how I feel about it. So, I feel kind of bad about him because he's so young. And it's funny because I had a conversation when I was out this weekend, and a younger guy approached me, and he comes to me, he says, "Oh, yo, OG," and I really appreciate it. He called me OG. So he was with a friend, and we would happen to be talking about. He was asking me a question about Tekashi 6ix9ine, and his friend just served 10 years in prison, and his friend had a major argument that night, saying that the friend believed that he doesn't feel sorry for Tekashi 6ix9ine. He feels he deserves what's coming to him. He deserves to go to jail. Where the guy who was I was talking to was like saying, no, you should be lenient on the kid because he's a kid. He's a young man. So this guy had maybe it's a blessing. This guy came up to me and we were talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine and and about his feelings with his friend. He's about to go to blows with his friend over Tekashi 6ix9ine. But great thing about it was we had great dialogue about it. where we were at the place, and he wanted my input as an OG, I guess. I gave him my input, and we just dapped and just kept it moving. But yeah, I just want to know how you guys think about it. How do you guys feel about it? Do you feel sorry for the young man Tekashi 6ix9ine? Want to get your thoughts on that. So yeah, we talked about that, and so while you guys are pondering that situation, hey, let's transition to another topic. And again, you can always put your comments in how you feel about Tekashi 6ix9ine, how you feel about that Mississippi Senate runoff that's taking place right now as we speak. Is it a vote for racism? Hey, let me know. Put those comments in there. So, so while you guys doing that, let's ponder and let's transition to another subject. And let's transition to the Cleveland Browns wanting to interview former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice for their head coaching position. Now, this is big here. So I know in the past, Condoleezza Rice, who used to be the former Secretary of State under President Bush, she has gone on record saying, like, when it's all said and done, that someday she wants to be the commissioner of the NFL. So she has some ties with the NFL. And I believe she's on the rules committee right now for the NFL. And I know I think she's done some stuff with Stanford University on the football side. So I think the Cleveland Browns are, I guess, hopefully they're really serious about bringing her in to be a candidate for the head coaching position. So, my question is this a publicity stunt by the Cleveland Browns? I mean, are they really adamant about this? I mean, I guess all publicity is good publicity, good or bad. But, and they've had a lot of bad misfortune for going not winning a game, I believe, last year or 2 years ago. And I think they were 3 for 30 something, I think, in 3 years with the past coach that they had. So, I'm just wondering, is this a publicity stunt? And for me personally, I hope it isn't, because it brings it back to my book. And I want to show my book here. And you probably can't see it in the screen because it's backwards in the screen with the camera. But, my book, Transition Game Plan, I have a bonus chapter in there if you haven't read the book. And I talk about the transition of power from men to women. And this could be a prime case here, in which Condoleezza Rice, she's given the opportunity to interview and become the head coach. You have the transition of power that's taking place. We've seen it in the Senate races and the local races throughout. For election day, for the 6th of this month. The transition of power is real from men to women. And this might be the case here for Condoleezza Rice. So I'm hoping it's not a publicity stunt. I'm hoping if she's serious about it, and if the Cleveland Browns are serious about it, why not give her a shot? I'm sure she can, hire those coaches around her to really build, on her being a good coach for the Cleveland Browns. So I think if her heart's in it, and I think if the Cleveland Browns don't use it as a publicity stunt, I say, why not Condoleezza Rice? I think she has a great shot at doing it. She's been around football all her life. She inspires to be that commissioner. So if she can't be the commissioner, why not be a head coach? So, but I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Do you think there's a publicity stunt by the Cleveland Browns? And if they did hire her, what type of coach do you think she could be? In this climate, what goes on here? What type of coach do you think Condoleezza Rice could be? Because, hey, let's put it like this, ladies and gentlemen. She was a Secretary of State. That's a tough, stressful job. So football wouldn't be as stressful. I think, personally, football wouldn't be as stressful. So, I think she deserves a shot at it all. I really think she deserves a shot, a really big shot at it all. So that would be really cool to see. That would be really cool to see. But I want to get your thoughts on it. What do you guys think about that? Very, very important. Very, very important. So, I get my notes here. So, yeah, guys, so let's recap before we head on out, because I don't want to keep you guys long. I know in this holiday season, you got a lot of stuff going on and going down. So, again, just wanted to recap. We discussed a little bit about that Mississippi runoff that's taking place right now. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. We talked about the rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine, who is dealing with some federal racketeering case, which is very serious, very vital. Hopefully, young kids take heed to it. And we also talked about Condoleezza Rice maybe getting an interview for the head position job. So Chris says, I think it's a stunt. I don't know, Chris. I hope it's not, man. We're seeing it more that women are becoming, prominent in sports. You're seeing the young lady from San Antonio Spurs, Becky Hammond. She's assistant coach there. I remember back in the day, there was an assistant coach in the University of Kentucky. I forget her name escapes me, but I know back in the days, in the 90s, she was the assistant coach. So they're climbing the charts. Let's hope, the Cleveland Browns, the only thing they really got to do is maybe stunts at this time. They're not winning games. They won last week, but let's just hope it's not a stunt, publicity stunt, because people can be affected by publicity stunts like that. But, let's hope if they're sincere, bring her in. Bring her in for an interview. Why not? Again, this is the transition of power from men to women, okay? Which I talked about in my book, bonus chapter, Transition Game Plan. All right? Yeah, so don't know, Chris. I hope it's not a stunt, man. I hope they're heartfelt about giving her an opportunity to interview for the position and seeing how it goes. Absolutely, yeah. So, great question there, Chris. Great question. Hey, so guys, again, I don't want to hold you guys, but like we mentioned earlier, all those things are going on. We got Thomas joining us. Hey, Thomas, thank you for joining us for Transition Tuesdays. You joined us just in time, Thomas. And we just recapped everything that's going on. So we did all that. But hey, again, guys, I don't want to keep you guys long, but just want to just continue to watch that race in Mississippi. Very, very important. I think it's kind of transcending voting there. Really is going to take a look at race issues and how people viewing race in this country. It's really depressing. It's it's kind of sad what's going on there in Mississippi, but hopefully we'll see what goes on through that. So it's very important that you guys, tonight that you watch that race, that runoff in Mississippi. Very important. We'll continue to take a look at that Tekashi 6ix9ine situation. And we'll see about that Condoleezza Rice situation. Will she get interviewed? And if she does, she gets the job. What kind of coach would she be? So, ladies and gentlemen, hey, as we always say in parting, happy transitioning, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys.